All right, everyone. So we try to do stories that are kind of more breaking news things and stuff like that. This is one we don't usually do, but I really wanted to do it because it's one that's near and dear to our heart. So the Ministry of Darkness was a faction during the Attitude Era. Undertaker was the head of it. Edge and Christian were in it, Gangrel was in it, but the initial guys were Bradshaw and Farouk, Midian, and Viscera, right? They were kind of the initial people to be in it. And when it started, you saw Undertaker kind of these guys would get taken over, right? You just saw them on Raw, and then they ended up joining the Ministry of Darkness. Now, Undertaker on his podcast spoke out about it. So this is what he had to say. He said it definitely had legs to go on if it hadn't gotten watered down the way it did. Probably a 2, maybe 3 year run out of that. I think there was so much that we still had left that we could have done to push the envelope and people to work with, but it had its place in my run, and I'm pretty proud of it because it came at a time where I really felt like I needed an evolution, and I think it resonated. So this is why we are doing this video because we 100% agree that the Ministry of Darkness, I think, is one of the most underrated factions in the history of the WWE. It was one of those things that it was like Undertaker in his true character, right? It was the by far the most evil Undertaker. You had the initial one when Undertaker first came in, and for the time it was certainly you know, a scary character, but it still didn't have that vibe of like it still was almost like a cartoon, right? And then of course on the other end of it you have like the biker Undertaker, who he was a badass, right? Don't get me wrong, he was a badass, but this Undertaker was by far the most evil of all of them. And it ended up becoming the corporate ministry with Vince McMahon in the mix, and that kind of all just ruined it. I think the truth is having this like weird evil faction that was just going around WWE making life miserable for everybody, and basically uncontrollable by the WWE. They even have the owner of the company scared because remember, he did, right, until we found out Vince was actually behind the scenes, which was on TV, crying, trying to get the Undertaker to stop going after his family. He goes after Stephanie, but it was just such a great faction, and I think Undertaker's right. I think had they just stuck to the Ministry of Darkness and didn't add in the corporate ministry and all of this, I think this thing could have ran for a super long time. So put in the comment section below what you think of the corporate ministry, and we will see you next time.